Last night we had to sit through WWE Extreme Rules. Today we're going to go over the negatives, the positives, and what we learned from last night's Extreme Rules pay-per-view as we head into Monday Night Raw. All this, plus so much more on this extra edition of Off the Script.
Fill your glasses up and put your headphones in, because it's time for Off the Script. And all you fucking goons and assholes, get in line and hit subscribe, because it's time for Off the Script. Hit the like button and share it around. You can even pull your fucking pants down, because it's time for Off the Script with JD from New York 206, because it's time for Off the Script, because it's time for Off the Script.
What is going on, guys? JD from New York here. Thank you so much for tuning back into the channel on this June 5th, 2017. Last night was WWE Extreme Rules. Today we're going to go over everything that we learned from last night's pay-per-view as we head into Monday Night Raw tonight and Great Balls of Fire in 5 weeks. If you guys missed my Extreme Rules pay-per-view review and results video, that is live on the channel right now. We're nearing 1,600 likes on that motherfucker. Thank you guys so much for your love and support. If you missed it, it is live on the channel right now. All you gotta do is go into the annotation that you see in the top right corner of this very video, and it'll take you right to that if you did miss it last night. Also, Off the Script, parts 1 and 2 went live on Friday and Saturday. Sunday, I gave you an extra Off the Script video talking about WCPW and the fact that YouTube strike them down for their event Fight Back, as we are in the midst of this YouTube ad policy bullshit, and the fact that YouTube will not monetize or deem wrestling-related content advertiser-friendly. There's a petition going around. There's one in the video you guys can sign. And I want to make something very, very clear to everybody that had watched that video and had directed their comments in the comment section towards What Culture. It has nothing to do with What Culture, man. Everybody that commented on that video that said, fuck What Culture, I'm not signing the petition, has nothing to do with What Culture. It has nothing to do with your dislike, for whatever reason, on What Culture Pro Wrestling. It has to do with wrestling content creators on YouTube. So for those who said, fuck you, What Culture, I am not signing the petition, you were all fucking benched immediately. So if you're wondering why I can't comment on the fucking channel anymore, it's because you're a fucking dick. You don't take into consideration that that video and that statement made by Adam had nothing to do with What Culture, but it had to do with the entirety of the state of the wrestling community on YouTube. Ignorance. Fucking ignorance, man. And I'm not afraid to fucking bench people, you guys know that. But when you blindly use your hatred because you don't like something someone is doing for no fucking reason, you are benched. Easily. It has to do with every content creator that you fucking watch, while these guys, including me, give you their time and their fucking day to give you free fucking content. Sign the goddamn petition. Try and make a difference. Because if you don't, you never know what's going to happen. Just wanted to get that out there, man. But that video is live as well. If you guys want to go check that out, that's on the channel. If you guys want my Lucha Underground review talking about All Night Long with Mundo and Mac, and you guys get to actually hear some excitement in my voice when it comes to wrestling, unlike fucking last night, That's live on the channel along with the NXT review for last week. So make sure you guys go and check all that out. If you missed it, it's in the annotation that you see in the top right corner of the screen. Can't wait for Lucha Underground on Wednesday, man. Part 2 of that Mundo Mac all night long conclusion. Dario Cueto setting up one more pinfall, and the winner of that will be the new Lucha Underground, or the Lucha Underground champion. Mac is vying for the title. Mundo is the champion. Can't wait to see what happens on this Wednesday's episode of Lucha Underground. If you guys want to support the podcast, you guys can very well do so through Patreon, patreon.com/JD from NY206. Thank you to everybody that pledged this week. You guys are going to get shout-outs, as always. The Patreon roll call on Off the Script is coming Friday for episode 173. I want to make you guys aware, if you are Patreons, Discord, chat link, you guys are going to get exclusive access to that. Early access to Off the Script and anything else that I upload that is ahead of schedule. You guys got Patreon-only Q&As where you can interact with me directly. If you guys want to ask me anything, there's a new Q&A coming this week. I just posted something on the Patreon boards. If you guys are Team Patreon on there right now, make sure you guys check that out and ask me anything you want, man. It doesn't have to be wrestling related. You guys can ask me anything about sports, music, beer, just me and my personal life. Whatever the reason is, man, whatever you guys want to know, you guys can ask it on there. I should have that video hopefully out by Wednesday if all goes according to plan. So if you guys want to support the channel and the podcast, patreon.com/JD from NY206. As little as $1 a month goes a long way, man. We got a lot of listeners here. If everybody just shells out $1 and forgets that fucking Arizona iced tea that you guys get on the way to the school bus or on the way to lunch from work, goes a long way, man. So thank you all for your support. Another great way to do that is through Audible. Everybody listening here today and every single week, man, Audible, our friends over at Audible are giving everybody 30 days free to try their service out. Not only that, but they're going to give you a free audiobook just for signing up. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Go through the sign-up process, fill out the information, and you guys are going to be granted one free audiobook of your choice, and a lot of those are wrestling-related. You guys can get the new AJ Lee book, Crazy is My Superpower. If you guys want the Daniel Bryan book, The Death of WCW, Bob Holly's book, I'm hearing is very good. If you guys want to go get Justin Roberts' new book, you can wait on that. I believe that's coming to Audible very soon. You guys can even pre-order Jim Ross's new book, coming out in October this fall. Or if you guys want something else completely different away from wrestling, whatever you want, man. Over 180,000 books to choose from. Audible's offering you guys one free book just for signing up. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Use that link to support the podcast. You got to go through the fucking sign-up process, and you got to pick your book, and you're going to be supporting the podcast, man, in a fantastic way. So make sure you guys do that if you love what I do here. Great way to support the show. And Patreon. I mentioned Patreon, Audible, and Barbershop Window. Barbershop Window is the other way you guys can support by directly buying a t-shirt through our online shop. JD's Negan design is there. The Get Off My TV hit list. Roman Reigns, Get Off My TV. The original Big Show. I am in the process of getting version 2 redone with new people. I already have a fucking hit list laid out. I might be doing, if you guys remember the original Get Off My TV version 2 with Strowman, Ryback, Kane, and Big Show, I'm thinking about doing. Let me gauge your opinion on this, man. I'm thinking about doing a whole new 4. I'm thinking about doing Stephanie. I'm thinking about doing Bailey. I'm thinking about doing Otunga. And I'm thinking of doing JBL, man. What would you think of that final 4? I think I'm going to take a poll, man. You guys are going to get a poll, okay? I want you, if you're listening to the video, obviously you're going to get your Extreme Rules, what we learned from Extreme Rules. But if you guys are interested in that shirt, give me 4 top quality Get Off My TV members that you'd want to see redone on that shirt, man. Because I want to get it redone. I want to get Get Off My TV 2 done. I want to do it 2.5 because Strowman isn't Get Off My TV anymore. Big Show's pretty much done. Kane is not there anymore. He's running for mayor of Tennessee, and then Ryback is fucking gone from WWE. So I got to redo it, man. I got to give you guys new Get Off My TV candidates, man. So let me know what you guys want to see on that shirt. I think it'd be fun. So down below in the comments, just sound off on who you want the 4 to be on version 2.5. I think that'll be a fun thing for everybody to interact with, and I'll even leave it on Patreon, man. I'll take some recommendations on there. But barbershopwindow.com/offthescript for your t-shirts, man. Great way to support the show. As always, follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206, and hit that subscribe button down below, man. Hopefully we get 80,000 subscribers before we hit SummerSlam, man. I don't know, the YouTube algorithm and the whole wrestling deemed non-advertiser friendly is fucking everybody up, man. It's not pushing wrestling content creators out there whatsoever. A lot of you guys are actually, you know, conspiracy theorists. You're all saying that WWE has something to do with this, that WWE is paying off Google to pretty much bury everybody but them. You know, I wouldn't be surprised, man. I really wouldn't be surprised because, you know, people like me and, you know, people like a few others on here that I listen to, we're very vocal about the product. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. We're going to tell you exactly what we feel. If it's bad, it's bad. If it's good, it's good. You know, and WWE doesn't like that because it turns people away from the product. But, you know, they're living in a fucking bubble. Not everything is going to be good, man. And they know the shit that they're doing right now is not good. So, you know, you cannot hold people's opinions down of the fucking product. You can't. It's just straight garbage right now. So I found that funny that everybody, you know, is thinking that it could be a possible conspiracy theory with WWE buying off Google and pretty much killing off all wrestling-related content, including WCPW, like they did this week. I mean, I think it's a rational thing to think about. It's plausible. It really is. But sign the petition. See where it goes with that. Let's get into Extreme Rules, man. I want to go over what we had happen last night. Okay, I'm going to start from the main event. I'm going to work my way down to the Intercontinental Championship between The Miz and Dean Ambrose. Clearly, we got Samoa Joe winning the Fatal 5-Way to become the #1 contender for Brock Lesnar's Universal Championship. That match will be taking place at Great Balls of Fire in 5 weeks. It's a match I have wanted. It's a match that I have hoped for. But you guys heard last night in my review, I am happy that the match is happening. I think it's probably right now, up until this point, the biggest main event that WWE will be giving us for 2016. I just think that it's coming too soon. I think that Joe, the way things are, doesn't really have a chance right now against Brock Lesnar. Do I wish things were different? Yes. Do I see Joe as a Universal Champion? Yes. Do I think his work ethic and his promo ability and his character live up to that upper echelon type guy on Raw to be a great heel champion? Yes. I just don't want Samoa Joe, after all the hard work and great things that he's done up until this point, I don't want him to merely be a footnote. I don't want him to be a stepping stone for Roman Reigns. You know, Brock Lesnar is looking to carve his own path, and Roman is going to be following closely behind. Because it looks like Brock Lesnar is set to go up against Joe, Balor, Rollins. I don't know if it's going to be Wyatt, because I don't take him to be a believable opponent. But it's going to be Joe, Balor, Rollins, and Strowman. That's going to be lined up for Brock Lesnar throughout the rest of this year, going into next year, and eventually it's going to conclude with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. You know? Roman's going to be riding on the coattails of Brock Lesnar as he's slaying all these guys. Roman's going to be right there, and he's going to be the one, the inevitable one, to take down the Beast Incarnate. And I don't want Samoa Joe to be a part of that. I don't want that. I think Joe is above that. Now, after seeing everything and coming out of Extreme Rules and seeing the lay of the land right now, I was thinking that Joe, Balor, Rollins, and even Reigns. I'll put Reigns in there because I don't want to see the Reigns-Lesnar match, but I know it's a big money match, something that's going to be heavily hyped. I honestly thought they were going to go with Bray Wyatt because this is a throwaway pay-per-view. I thought Bray Wyatt was the most expendable. You know, they did tease that early on last year. Never came to be because Bray Wyatt was hurt. And then they just completely dropped the feud. I thought they would at least revisit it here. And then give Bray Wyatt a match. It'll be a throwaway match. And then Lesnar can go on to Braun Strowman, who's eventually going to come back. Because that's where their plans lie. In Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. So that was my logic going into this. I initially had Seth Rollins. Because I said, you know what? Rollins has been the best in-ring performer for Raw coming out of WrestleMania. Why not give him a championship? Maybe they can go with Rollins and Lesnar and then include Balor in the build going towards SummerSlam, and we can get Lesnar, Balor, and Rollins in a triple threat match at SummerSlam. That was an idea that I threw out there. But it looks like we are going to get an eventual Braun Strowman return, and it's going to be Strowman versus Lesnar. At least Lesnar's going to be getting a solid, competitive, title reign here. Because Joe is no pushover. Strowman is not going to be a pushover. And I don't know, man. At the end of the day, Joe, again, to me, is going to be a stepping stone. And I don't think that is right for Samoa Joe. I think he's worth more than that. Big time. But then you look at it on the other side of things, Joe and Lesnar. It's a dream match. It might not be everybody's cup of tea because, you got the fucking idiots out there who just dislike all the indie guys. Joe is legit. That's why this match is a dream match. There's not many dream matches that live up to the legitimacy of a dream match. The reason why this is a dream match is because Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar are two of the most legit guys walking this earth. And after Samoa Joe's promo last night on Raw Talk, how can you not take him seriously? I mean, he sent a message to Brock Lesnar that fucking got me excited immediately. I was excited before the promo. But you can imagine the way Joe and his intensity are going to be in front of Paul Heyman and the stare downs with Brock Lesnar on Raw, man. That's probably going to be the best thing that we've seen in a very long time when it comes to Monday Night Raw. And I quote, to Brock Lesnar, you start your training camp up right now. You climb those mountains and carry those logs. You throw people around. You beat up every sparring partner that you bring into your camp. And I guarantee you, you still won't be prepared for what I do to you. End quote. And the intensity in his face was fucking so great, man. It was so great. It was noticeable. He's fucking excited. You've seen how excited he was. He's been waiting for this moment. This is something that Joe has personally wanted for a very long time. Going down to NXT, he's made mention of it. He's fucking talked about it indirectly. When Lesnar was suspended, when nobody knew what Brock Lesnar's future in the WWE would be, he made a mention of it, indirectly. Joe is excited about this, man. And I think a lot of excitement is going to build around this pay-per-view. And one of the reasons why, now looking at the landscape, like I said, one of the reasons why I think they went with Joe here is because this is a dream match. Out of everybody that was involved in that Fatal 5-Way, this is the dream match out of those 5 competitors. And they needed a big-type dream match to sell you on this shitty pay-per-view, Great Balls of Fire. Because they don't want you to take it as a joke. They want to build it up as a big deal. They know it's a fucking joke of a name. They know it's a throwaway pay-per-view. Who the fuck cares about Great Balls of Fire? They want to get you talking about Great Balls of Fire. And how do they do that? They book a dream match with Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. Would I entertain the idea of giving Samoa Joe the Universal Championship? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd have Joe win the title. You can even set up a match between Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe for SummerSlam. I think that'd be a great main event. That's another WrestleMania-worthy match. Joe, don't really want to make him a transitional champion, but you could keep the title on Joe. You can go through Reigns. You can eventually get to Strowman. Joe could drop the title to Strowman. That's another fucking legit match right there. A match I'd like to see, especially the way Braun Strowman's been built up. Why don't you have Joe win the title? Why do you need Lesnar to have the title? What is the aura with Brock Lesnar having the Universal Championship? It worked with the WWE Championship back in the day when he beat John Cena. That's when it made sense. Now that you have, look at the landscape of Monday Night Raw's main event scene. Balor, Reigns, Wyatt, he's iffy, but he's up there. Rollins, Reigns, Wyatt, Balor, Strowman, Joe. That is a legit main event scene, man. That's a damn good main event scene at the top. Something that they're highly underutilizing right now. Because Brock Lesnar is holding the title captive. What is the fucking idea here about holding your title captive when you have that type of main event scene? Give it to Joe. If Jinder Mahal can win the fucking title, out of nowhere, why can't Samoa Joe beat Brock Lesnar? Do you know what that would do for that man's career if he beat Brock Lesnar? He's actually the only one, maybe Strowman, maybe. He's the only one on that roster that I would have win right now against Brock Lesnar. I talked about Nakamura before they put him on SmackDown. We're not going to mention him. I think that's another legit match I'd love to see. But right now, out of active competitors on Raw, the only one right now I'd even entertain with beating Brock Lesnar is Samoa Joe. Do it. You want a shock and awe? You want a fucking... You want the talk by the water cooler the next day at work? Do it. You get the title back on Raw. You get it on someone who is just as legit as Brock Lesnar, and you build your brand around him, and you have him become a destroyer. You've built up Braun Strowman to the point where he's also legit too. Why don't we get Strowman versus Samoa Joe for the Universal Championship? Why not have Strowman take the title from Samoa Joe, and then have Roman chase Strowman and then end that feud with, you know, Roman taking the title back from Strowman and getting revenge on Strowman. Then you can have Roman go into WrestleMania as a fucking heel and battle Finn Balor. And Balor can finally get his fucking opportunity one-on-one against the champion that he hasn't had yet. You know? I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that. But I don't know what's going to happen right now. It's all fresh. We'll have a good idea of where they go from here on Monday Night Raw. But the dream match is set. Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar. They booked it because Great Balls of Fire is a fucking joke. And out of all the 5 guys in that Fatal 5-Way of last night, the one dream match that really is a dream match to sell someone on, anybody, is going to be Samoa Joe. And I think, looking back at it, they pulled the trigger. They got the right man to win, but I'm not sure if it's the right time yet. Because to me, Lesnar and Joe is a WrestleMania-worthy match, man. I don't want it to be a one and done. I don't want Joe to be treated that way. He's worth more than that, but we'll see what happens, man. Maybe they surprise us. Maybe Joe wins the title. I have no fucking idea. But a dream match is set for Great Balls of Fire. Samoa Joe is the new #1 contender for the Universal Championship against Brock Lesnar. Cruiserweight Championship. Neville defeated Austin Aries last night in a submission match. He hit a beautiful red arrow, one of the best I've ever seen, right on Aries' back. Turned that immediately into a Rings of Saturn, so it was a double whammy for Austin Aries. Austin Aries pretty much out of title contention right now. Neville still the king of 205 Live. You guys mentioned to me, and I completely forgot his name because I thought he was still hurt. But I think he is back. Cedric Alexander. I think Cedric Alexander would be a great opponent for Neville. But Cedric Alexander now, compared to what we've seen in the Cruiserweight Classic, is not the same individual. He's like a shell of what we've seen from the Cruiserweight Classic. If I was in charge of 205 Live, what I'd do is I'd set up a mini tournament. I'd get everybody involved, try and recreate somewhat of what the Cruiserweight Classic is on 205 Live, and find out who is truly deserving to challenge the king. Because he's beat everybody, you know? Look at who you got on 205 Live. Akira Tozawa. Are you going to take Tozawa seriously? Yeah, he's getting some fan reaction, but are the fans going to be behind him to beat Neville? No. If Neville got past Aries, you know for sure he's going to get past Tozawa. Jack Gallagher. We've seen it already. I love Jack Gallagher, but I don't think he's going to be the one to take the title off Neville. TJP, you know, another one. A shell of a former man coming from the Cruiserweight Classic. They had him babyface. They turned him heel. Now there's something brewing here between him and Neville. It's got to be a payoff somewhere. Are you going to revert TJP back to a babyface? Are people going to care? No, it's not really one of those matches I'm going to jump out of my seat and go see. I just don't care. You know, Rich Swann, yeah, I love Rich Swann, but it's not something I'm going to be excited about. You know, all the guys that I loved coming out of the Cruiserweight Classic. Lince Dorado, nothing. They haven't done anything with him. Mustafa Ali, yeah, he's great, but people aren't going to be jumping out of their seat to watch a Cruiserweight Championship match of Mustafa Ali and Neville. You need a big name. You need a big name. And this is where they're suffering. And it pains me to say, you know, you got guys in NXT that fit the 205 Live gimmick and the weight limit, but I wouldn't necessarily put them in 205 Live. I wouldn't put them on that show. The one man that comes to mind is Aleister Black. Aleister Black, the way he's been built up so far in NXT, would be a perfect opponent for Neville. But I think Aleister Black is so much better than 205 Live. He's worth so much more than 205 Live. Fuck, Neville is worth more than 205 Live. Aries is worth more than 205 Live. 205 Live is absolutely downright fucking boring. You know? They fucked it up so bad. And I don't know what they're doing with it. I really don't. It's very confusing right now. And Cedric Alexander may be the next in line. But right now, it's just a huge question mark. They need a big name on that brand to pump up the enthusiasm and the excitement about that, man. I don't know what's going on. I really don't get it with 205 Live. They fucked it up to a point now where I just think people don't care about it at all. At all. They need to put it in Full Sail. They need to make it live on Wednesdays. They need to make NXT live as well. Things need to change. There's a lot of things about this brand and this product overall in general that need to be changed. And that's one of them. Because when 205 Live is barely breaking the top 20 and when you have to use Sasha Banks to gain any enthusiasm or excitement for the brand, that's bad. That means you don't have any faith in anybody that you got on that brand right now. And Neville, he's doing some of the best work, if not the best work of his career. He should be hanging with the guys on Monday Night Raw, away from 205 Live. Same thing with Aries. I mentioned Aries. I'd love to see him come back, repackaged, challenge The Miz for the IC title. Because I think that's where he should be. But right now, again, just like Joe and what they do with Joe and the Universal Championship, you know, is it going to be a one and done? Same thing with Neville. Who's his next challenger going to be? We don't know. We can throw names out there till we're blue in the fucking face. But is it going to get you excited? Probably not. Because there's not a big name on 205 Live. Just want to make mention as well, coming out of Extreme Rules, Finn Balor in the Fatal 5-Way did not have the demon paint. I didn't really care about him not having the demon paint at all. It's more of a one-on-one type deal, you know. Whatever he does at the next big pay-per-view, it might be, you know, Demon Balor. But with Finn Balor in the Fatal 5-Way, you know, maybe it wasn't that big of a deal. You know, they want to save it for really, really special occasions. It's something you don't want to play out, really. I made mention of it on the Extreme Rules review. You know, did they cut budget? But it's got to be done when the time is right. You can't be using it for something like this. This is a serious thing. Whatever the reason is, save it for a big pay-per-view like SummerSlam. Save it for the big 4 pay-per-view only. You don't need to have Demon Balor come out every fucking pay-per-view. You know, it's like, obviously he's one of the top guys on Raw. You're gonna have Demon Balor come out every fucking, you know, pay-per-view that Raw has, and then every big pay-per-view that they have dual branded. No, you know. He did it with NXT TakeOver. How often do we see TakeOver? Once every 3 months? Treat it like that. Just use it at the big 4 or 5 pay-per-views that WWE presents dual-branded for the calendar year. So people were making mention about that. Oh, we haven't seen Demon Balor since his comeback, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? He's the same fucking man without the face paint. Who gives a shit, you know? And he lost anyway yesterday. Do you really want Demon Balor to be on the receiving end of a loss if he's such a mystical fucking character? No. If he wasn't meant to be winning, there's no reason to put the face paint on him. That's just the way I think about it. Tag Team Champions, Sheamus and Cesaro, in what was a clusterfuck of a tag team match. What we learned is that WWE really fucked up the booking here. You know, they had Michael Cole and Booker T go over the rules. People were still confused about the finish. A lot of fans were asking questions about the steel cage match. Jeff had already escaped the cage. I was thinking, you know, it really makes no fucking sense that Jeff escaped the cage. Why would he do that and leave his brother Matt in the ring to fend off both members of Sheamus and Cesaro's team, right? Why would he leave his brother in a handicap situation? If the rules were both members have to hit the floor at the same exact time. I don't know who produced this match. I don't know who scripted this match, but they made Jeff Hardy look like a complete fucking buffoon. Then he goes back into the match. His spot monkey addiction takes over him. He does a whisper in the wind off the cage, you know. And then Matt is trying to pull Jeff out through the door. Sheamus and Cesaro trying to go over the top. Sheamus and Cesaro eventually hit the ground first. But again, why would Jeff And I'm looking at this, go out of the cage and leave his brother in alone. Matt was doing a very good job of fighting off Sheamus and Cesaro. Why didn't Matt, in that handicap situation, try to escape through the door? You know, if you're not going to have the wrestlers go through the door, then don't have a fucking door. This match shouldn't even been a steel cage match. WWE was under the impression, oh, we have too many ladder matches going on. We had one at TakeOver Chicago. We got one, at Money in the Bank. We actually have two at Money in the Bank. Why are we going to have one here? Well, I don't know. It's the fucking Hardy Boys. They're known for their ladder spots. I mean, who the fuck doesn't want to see Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy in a goddamn ladder match? No, you put them in a steel cage match where everybody's fucking confused by the goddamn finish, yet you make your fucking champions look like a bunch of fucking fools. I don't get it. I really don't understand it. It really, really upset a lot of people. It didn't upset them because they were upset over the Hardys losing. They were upset because it was just so fucking stupid. It was stupid. Crazy stat about Matt and Jeff Hardy's recent tag team title reign. ESPN actually had a graphic on their show last night. Look at this. They won the titles April 2nd, 2017, and they lost them June 4th, 2017. This statistic matches up perfectly with their title run a decade ago in 2007. They won the titles on April 2nd, 2007, and they lost them on June 4th, 2007. They beat John Cena and Shawn Michaels back in 2007 for the tag team titles. In 2017, they beat Gallows and Anderson at WrestleMania. They lost them on June 4th to Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch. And they lost them last night to Sheamus and Cesaro. Interesting stat. Was that done on purpose? Is WWE's creative team that bright to realize? Probably not. I think it was just a complete fucking coincidence. So that's pretty crazy in itself. Matt Hardy and Austin Aries comment on their losses last night at Extreme Rules. Matt Hardy tweeted, "Epic effort tonight, brother. Our first setback since returning to WWE. We must work harder, be greater, and we will. Thanks, WWE Universe." Austin Aries, on the other hand, says that he might have some serious life reflection and career reevaluation to do. So I don't know what's going on with Aries. Is he turning heel? Is he going to be challenging for another championship? Is he going to be moving on from 205 Live? We don't know. And Jeff Hardy, is his stupidity last night going to really be a stepping stone for Matt to become broken? I don't know. I'm hoping so, because it really played into the whole spot monkey addiction of him going out of the cage first and then trying to find his way back in to help his brother, because there's no reason why he should have left his brother alone. If the ruling of the match was both members of the team have to hit the ground, at the same time. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Moving on, Bayley was fucking buried. I don't like the word buried, but Bayley looked like a complete fucking buffoon. Complete fucking buffoon. They've absolutely killed Bayley's character on Monday Night Raw. Alexa Bliss beat her in 5 minutes to retain the Raw Women's Championship. And everybody was just fucking pissed off about this. How can they just take Bayley, who was loved by everybody in NXT, who showed moments of anger and competitiveness, and fucking, she had some balls to her in NXT, but now on Monday Night Raw, she's nothing but crying and fucking sorry and this and that, and just a fucking pushover on Monday Night Raw. Kendo stick on a pole. They made the entire match about the kendo stick, and that's all it was. The Women's Championship was an afterthought. Bayley was made to look fucking weak. This Is Your Life embarrassed her. Alexa Bliss embarrassed her in the build with several weeks of kendo stick shots. Bayley only got a Bayley to belly on her, but she received more kendo stick shots, and Alexa Bliss just ended the match quick, 5 minutes, DDT. I don't know where Bayley goes from here, but some fucking form of reset needs to be happening here with Bayley. And I mentioned it, Sasha Banks looks to be the one woman outside of everybody here that has some type of momentum with her pairing with Rich Swann. Maybe we see Alexa and Sasha for the Women's Championship. Maybe that'll be a catalyst to just bring out Bayley and generate some fucking anger in that character. While Sasha Banks is winning the title and fucking turning her back on Bayley, maybe Bayley finally starts to wake up and say, you know what, I'm tired of being a goddamn pushover. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. So hopefully they could fucking really reassess what they did with Bayley here, because right now, WWE has done everything, and it's really odd. They've done everything in their power to just kill Bayley's character off, man. And there were reports that WWE and Vince McMahon want to make Bayley the face of the women's division. If that's how you are handling Bayley's character, you don't want to make her the face of the women's division. You want to make her the fucking laughingstock of the women's division. Because right now, as a fan, me personally, I fucking hate Bayley. To the point where I want to put her on a goddamn fucking t-shirt. Get off my TV. You are cringe. Speaking of Sasha Banks, she is the one woman right now that has any type of momentum for Alexa Bliss. Nia Jax has not been featured. Mickie James has not been featured. Dana Brooke is a fucking waste, right? There's nobody else. Who else are you going to pair with Alexa Bliss? Bayley's done. She had 2 championship matches. One last night, one at Payback. You're done. You're done. I don't know what they do. Sasha is the only one right now. Sasha is the only one to challenge Alexa and actually have it mean something. But the women's division right now, not looking good on Monday Night Raw. Not looking good at all. Great Balls of Fire is a real thing on WWE pay-per-view. Kurt Angle dropped the name of the event on the pre-show with Sam Roberts and Mr. David Otunga. He is back. Yes, the man himself is back. And I regretfully have to say that. But I really don't I just don't get it. You know, they even used the fucking song Great Balls of Fire for the theme. Maybe Vince McMahon was listening to that specific song one afternoon and said, you know what, that's a great name for a pay-per-view. Again, why don't we have King of the Ring? Beats me. But Great Balls of Fire is a real thing. And the pay-per-view logo is balls of fire that look like and are very reminiscent to a penis. So, the marketing team over there, Kevin Dunn, you know, he loves Roman's balls in his mouth. So, he tried to emulate that the best that he could. You know, I don't know if his balls are on fire while they're in Roman's mouth, but, the whole thought about it is there. That's where it comes from. So, Great Balls of Fire is a real thing. It's coming in 5 weeks. Like I said, Joe versus Lesnar for the Universal Championship. New Intercontinental Champion crowned last night. The Miz, decent match, but I'm done with the Miz and Ambrose feud. I don't know where they go. Some of you mentioned, and I did report on this, that Roman Reigns could be in line to challenge The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. God forbid. I don't want to see that. Hopefully WWE has a better idea than that. I said, and I predicted that we're going to get Balor and Wyatt coming out of Extreme Rules, heading towards the next pay-per-view. And I said Reigns versus Rollins. Maybe Reigns turns heel, man. I don't know. I'm still hoping for that. A babyface Rollins versus a heel Roman Reigns. I like that. They got great dynamic in the ring. You know, I know that they can give us a good match. But if you're going to pair Roman face versus heel versus face Rollins, I don't really give a shit. They're not fighting over anything. What are they fighting over? I don't know. You know, another thing you guys mentioned to me is that Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns all lost last night. Maybe we get the Shield. Maybe we get a reformation of the Shield on Raw. I don't know. That remains to be seen. But Reigns versus Miz, I have absolutely no interest in that. That just means you gave the title to the Miz to just give it right back to Roman Reigns. And that makes no sense. Miz is the Intercontinental Champion. I don't know where he goes from there. Dean Ambrose was made out to look like a complete fucking fool. Again, extreme fools. You know, they played up the disqualification aspect. And Dean Ambrose completely turned his back on The Miz in the match. He wasn't even realizing that The Miz was behind him. All he did was beg and plead and pray the referee doesn't disqualify him after that referee bump. You know, but he completely forgot. As a champion, how do you forget your opponents in the ring? I didn't even mention this on the pay-per-view last night on the review. How do you forget that your opponent is behind you? And your opponent comes up behind you, nails his finishing move, and you lose the title, and you're made to look like a fucking idiot. They made Dean Ambrose, another babyface made to look like a complete fucking idiot. Bayley looks like a fucking idiot. Dean Ambrose looked like a fucking idiot. Jeff Hardy looked like a fucking idiot. The night of fucking idiots over here. The night of fools. I don't get the booking. I don't get the way these matches were laid out, man. I really don't. It all led to Miz becoming a 7-time Intercontinental Champion. I'd rather the Miz be the champion than Dean Ambrose, because Ambrose was doing nothing with that championship belt, and I'm just glad that it's back on the Miz. You know? And finally, like I mentioned, speaking of whom, David Otunga is back on commentary. He's back on WWE television. He was away filming a movie. He was not on the commentary table, thank God. Booker T, though, not much better. I'd rather hear Booker T than David Otunga, but it could be, and it could mean that David Otunga is back with WWE. His filming duties are complete, and we will see David Otunga on Monday Night Raw. You know, so look at that. We got David Otunga coming back to the announce desk. Great. We got Stephanie McMahon coming back. Raw is going to be and feel worse than it ever has been. Just think about that. And that is what we learned coming out of Extreme Rules 2017. I will be back later on tonight for Monday Night Raw review. If you guys are interested in that, check the channel back later tonight. If you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up. And I will be back, like I said, later tonight with Monday Night Raw. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. Hit that subscribe button down below for the #1 fucking wrestling-related channel for everything WWE right here on YouTube.com. Hit that bell for the notification. If you guys want to pledge to the Patreon page, patreon.com/JDFROMNY206. Check out my friends over at Audible for your free audiobook, audibletrial.com/offthescript. And get your t-shirts, barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Patreons, get your questions in for the Q&A. I just posted something up about an hour ago. Get your questions in, and I'll record a video specifically for you guys, man. Whatever you want, all right? Thank you guys so much. Hit up that Extreme Rules review if you missed it. Off the Script is live on YouTube and on iTunes. And check out that Off the Script extra talking about YouTube giving a strike to What Culture Pro Wrestling. Sign the petition. Let's try and help out the best we can, the wrestling-related content creators right here on YouTube, by making a difference in having our voices heard, man. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you for Monday Night Raw. Have a great Monday, and I'll see you later tonight for Monday Night Raw. Talk to you later.